Hello, dear students. This is the 7th session of the video class. And here in the class, I would like to speak on another important poet. That is Duncan Gray. It is a poem that is written by Robert Burns. Duncan Gray is a poem, a romantic poem. It's written by Robert Burns. Robert Burns is equally important pre-romantic poet like William Blake. Robert Burns is a pre-romantic poet. He wrote poems to be sung in some special occasions. Most of his poems were to be sung some occasions. They have some physical effect and rhythmic organized the rhymes and expressions we see in his poems. And let us see something about Robert Burns. You see that Robert Burns was a Scottish poet. The poet belongs to Scotland. He is a national poet of Scotland. I told you just before, Robert Burns' poems were to be sung. They were written to be sung. Because they are lyrics. He wrote lyrics. Lyrics basically they composed to sing. Therefore, being a romantic poet of Scotland, he is especially known as lyricist. His poems were having the features of lyric. A lyric can be sung. It is melodious, and it's quite interesting to understand the poem in listening rather than reading. Listening rather than reading. He is widely regarded as the national poet of Scotland. National poet. Like who? He is celebrated worldwide as a romantic poet. He is best known of the poet who has written in Scots language. Being a Scottish poet, he wrote in Scottish language as well as in English language, both. Although much of his is in English and light Scots dialect and accessible an audience beyond Scotland. He wrote in both the languages, but more popular language poems that we could find in the English language. But he also wrote some poems, some lyrics even in Scottish language too. He's also wrote in the standard of English, and in these writings, his political or civil commentary is often at its bluntest. He mainly focuses on the political and social and civil issues in his poetry as well. Being a national poet, he has that sensibility of writing and observing the things that are happening not only in Scotland, even in the world, because he is being a national poet. And Robert Burns is regarded as a pioneer of romantic movement. I told you in the last, that is the poem that is while I am dealing with that is Tiger. William Blake, he was a romantic poet. And he was a pre-romantic poet, and that is Burnt is a romantic poet as well. He is regarded as a pioneer of English romantic movement. See that Robert Burns is the founder, beginner of romantic. And he contributed a lot to the romantic school of thought. Later it was developed, modernized by, that is Wordsworth, Coleridge, and the 5 wheels of romantic poetry, the Keats, Shelley, and all. He became a great source of inspiration to the founders of both liberalism and socialism. See that romantic moment stands on the principles of liberalism and socialism. The romantic moment is giving liberty to express oneself. It is most important. A democratic seed, it is found in the later forms by romantic school of thought. Therefore, we could never forget Robert Burns for his contribution for the liberalism and socialism. And he could become cultural icon of the Scotland. Any school of thought, it is having the cultural history, cultural background, and cultural progress. And it is a cultural movement. It is a political and social cultural movement as well. Among the Scottish diaspora around the world, it could become the cultural icon in Scotland. Celebration of his life and work became almost national, charismatic cult during 19th and 20th centuries. Even after the romantic moment, he was celebrated a lot for his quality of writing and giving contribution to the liberal and socialism. His influence has long been strong on Scottish literature. He not only influenced romantic school of thought, and he also basically being a Scottish writer, he influenced and inspired many Scottish writers of his time and later too. In 2009, he was chosen as the greatest public vote run by Scottish television channel, that is STV. And let us see his contribution to English poetry, romantic poetry, and how we could become so important writer in English literature. Burns made original compositions and collected folk songs from across Scotland. Folk songs is the pulse of the romantic moment. And he composed many of his lyrics to be sung, and he was so popular across Scotland as a lyric lyricist and a national poet. He often revised and adapted all the folk songs and compositions. His poems, that is Auld Lang Syne. Auld Lang Syne is often sung at Agmini, and it is served as a national anthem of the country. See that how uh, Robert Burns could become a national poet, and he has given a national anthem in his lyric. It's so important to note. His significant works that are listed here under some of the important works. That is the most famous, the popular love poem of the romantic moment of Robert Burns is A Red Red Rose. And second one is Man's Man for That. And third one is a Twelve Loves. And fourth one is a Mouse. And the Battle of Sirmir. And the last one is the Tam O' Shanter and Half and Kiss. And the present poem that we are going to study in your syllabus is that is Duncan Gray. This is how we could see many more contributions of Robert Burns to the English literature. This is a brief introduction of the Robert Burns as a romantic poet and a Scottish poet and a national poet of Scotland, and he has given national anthem to the Scotland, and he wrote many number of lyrics that were composed originally to be sung. That is what I tell you. That is, thank you for listening a brief introduction to the Robert Burns. Thank you very much. Meet in the next session. Thank you.